Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Tuesday, May the 7th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you all to This is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornick Gay. Hope everyone is enjoying their Tuesday. Before I go any further, hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. Hey, there's a lot of interesting topics I will be talking about and discussing. I will be giving my opinion. And hey, I would hate for you guys to miss out on that. Like I always say, also get in that comment section. Let me know what you think, whether yay or nay. Should I do more? Should I continue? Should I shut up? Go sit down somewhere? Let me know. I'm pretty thick-skinned. I won't bite. I won't bite. Bottom line, hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon. Please do. Please do. All right, let's move along here, folks. Hey, today's word of the day, truckle, which means to act in a subservient manner. Truckle. Never heard that one before. Never heard that before. Truckle. It's a new one on me. A new one on me. All right, let's move along here also, folks. Hey. The weather here in North Carolina, of course, is looking and feeling beautiful. Man, you can't beat this with a stick, even if you try. Temps are in the upper 80s. It's going to be 90 tomorrow, so here comes that heat. But at least we won't have that June, July, August humidity with it. It's just going to be 90 degrees, so it would be pretty pleasant. Still going to be hot, but man, I got to say, I have thoroughly enjoyed these early spring days. I just have. Like I always say, it's one of my favorite times of the year, early spring and early fall. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. You sit outside and relax. Can't beat it with a stick, can't beat it with a stick. But man, of course, later on this weekend, they're saying we may have some rain. And we have been getting rain late night, spring showers. Nothing too major, no severe storms. Unlike, sadly, other parts of this country of ours, the tornadoes. The tornadoes and the flooding, they are ripping through the Midwest. Well, it is spring. This happens every year. This is nothing new. This is not an oddity. This is the spring in the United States when the weather starts to shift, starts to change. That Midwest, it always gets hammered. From Texas to Oklahoma, Kansas, you can run right up and down the Midwest of the United States. And that is just what happens in springtime. The air is unstable. But man, Houston got hammered with some floods, and then another part of Texas got a tornado, and Oklahoma, man. You might as well say it just destroyed a town. It just did. I don't believe there were any deaths, thankfully. But man, if you've seen the aftermath, you'll understand why you have to take a moment and just be thankful that you weren't in anything like that. Because I can't even imagine in the wee hours of the morning hearing that and going through that. I just can't. But man, and if that isn't enough, an odd weather story here in the United States, but really it's not odd. It happens also springtime, Utah, Colorado, and then, the Sierras, they have snow. Yep, snow in May. Once again, this is the springtime. And hey, in that Midwest, up in those higher elevations up in the mountains, they still continue to get snow going April and May. It's just springtime in the United States. It's not. It's odd, but it's not odd. It's to be expected. Folks that are from that area or that region, I can rest assured when I say I know by now they are used to it. It's nothing new to them. And maybe a few folks out there talking about global warming. Maybe. And then again, maybe not, because like I said, if you're from that region, or you don't even have to be from that region, you could just be from anywhere in this country. And if you follow weather or the news, you know in the spring in the Midwest, you got tornadoes, you got you have flooding, you have snow, and you just do. These are just things that you know are going to happen when the seasons change. I can't give you global warming all the way. I can't even give it to you partially. That's the Midwest. You know, you know. I mean, hey, you move to the Midwest, you know that's what's going to happen in the spring. Then maybe in the winter is bitterly cold, depending on what part of the Midwest you're in. So, man, the weather here is looking lovely, but other parts of the country is not looking so lovely. Pray for those folks out there in the Midwest. As always, every year, we know this. We just know this. Man, hey, have you guys been watching this NBA playoffs? Woo wee, out T ma la ti da. This may be this has got to be one of the best NBA playoffs I have seen in a while. I'm sorry. It has me glued to the TV every night it's on. And like I always say, I love to see new teams come out. Get so tired of seeing the same old teams with the same old players dominate year after year after year. After a while, it gets old. Hey, let's see some of these other squads. Let's see some of these young guys, because these young guys, like I told you guys last week, they ain't too impressed with these old heads and what they have done. It's what you're doing, and they're showing it. They ain't impressed. They've taken these old heads to the task. Well, coming out of the East, tonight it's going to be the Boston Celtics versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the Cavaliers had to fight through the Orlando Magic, but the Celtics are well rested. Excuse me, after outing Miami last week. They've been on a break ever since last week, ever since the middle of last week, if I'm not mistaken. So tonight is going to be the Boston Celtics versus the Cleveland Cavaliers out of the East. Celtics may take this one. Then again, Cleveland fought pretty hard against the Magic. But then some folks are saying, hey, that was the Magic. That ain't nothing to wait on. But hey, yet and still, they're still there. So you gotta pay them some attention. All right, Boston, don't go in there and get a little lax. Don't you guys are notorious, just like Philly, for choking. If you know, you know. You just know. And coming out of the West tonight is going to be the Dallas Mavericks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Kyrie Irving is looking pretty good for the Mavericks. He's looking good. He's putting on putting up some good numbers. He's giving some star performances. It may have been worth the little wait to get him for Dallas. He had got into a little bit of brouhaha sometime last year when he was in Brooklyn. It started with that COVID and him refusing to get the vaccine. And then he made that statement about the Jews were, I won't say responsible for the slave trade, but they were involved in the slave trade. Yeah, you remember that. He caught a lot of flack for that one. Brooklyn may have just got him out of there. But Dallas have picked them up, and they're looking pretty good. They just are. So the West is going to be tonight anyway. This is still, hey, it's just the second round. It's going to be Dallas Mavericks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then out of the East, it's going to be the Boston Celtics versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers, by the way, have not made it to the NBA Finals since LeBron James' departure years ago. This says a lot. But they're here now. So, hey, Let's see what they'll do. They might surprise you. They just might surprise you. And speaking of surprises, wow, the surprise this has got to be the second surprise because the first surprise was, of course, the defending NBA champions Denver Nuggets when they ousted the Los Angeles Lakers last week. But man, they are down 2-0 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. You heard me right. Minnesota came to town and have gotten them 2 victories already, and they have done it handily. I ain't saying, but they may have just found the answer to Joker and company with Jamal Murphy, because Jamal Murray, buddy, he didn't look too tough. And if you say to yourself, well, how in the world did they do that? Defense. Good old-fashioned, hard-nosed, move your damn feet defense. They had Joker and Murray. They had them on the heels. They couldn't get anything going. Joker, yeah, he's a prolific scorer. He facilitates the ball. When I say facilitate, he moves the ball. He dishes the ball out pretty well. But he didn't have anybody to dish the ball out to because they had Murray and Porter and those other guys. They had him on lock. Edwards. And you heard me talk about him last week. Man. Woo. Is he the answer to the Nuggets? Or is Minnesota the answer to the Nuggets? Because he had some help on defense. The key thing was the defense. They put that defensive stop on the defending NBA champions. Now, is that the answer? Are they going to win this series and advance into the NBA finals? Time will tell. I ain't ready to give it to them just yet. Because like I said, Denver, they played in Denver, so they're up 2-0, and they beat Denver at home. But now they have to go back to Minnesota. Now, many are saying, hey, they're going back to Minnesota. They still have the advantage. But Denver has got to have a huge chip on their shoulder and a point to prove. So this is going to be a very interesting series. Just is. Like I said earlier, man, this has got to be one of the best NBA finals I have seen in years, decades. And it has me glued to the TV every night thereon. I kid you not. Just like last night, I was flipping back and forth between that, the game with the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. And I can't remember what the game was before that, but I was flipping back and forth between that and my wrestling. It takes a lot to get me off of my wrestling. So that's why I say it's a good series, man, a good finals, man. It is looking good, and I can't wait to continue to watch it. Especially tonight. New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks lead the series 1-0. Good old school 90s Eastern Conference showdown. If you know anything about the rivalry between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers, you know, the Knicks back in the day with Starks, with Ewing, with what was the guy's name? I can't remember his name, but he was a bruiser. Then you had Indiana, of course, with Reggie Miller. And who could forget the New York Knicks superfan Spike Lee, who would get into it with Reggie Miller and hype Reggie Miller up, and he would put on a clinic against his Knicks. Maybe you should have kept your mouth closed there, Spike. Hope you keep your mouth closed this time, Spike. Even though the Knicks, hey, I got to say Jalen Brunson, he's looking good. He's looking good. He is their star player, and he is showing up and showing out. Knicks lead the series 1-0, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, this is a good old school 90s Eastern Conference battle. We'll see what happens because Brunson he's looking good. He just is. And Knicks, the Pacers, the other night when they played the Pacers Sunday night, The Pacers were pretty good. They were leading, but they just didn't have an answer for Brunson. Brunson did what he does best. Puts the ball on the floor and head down, and he goes hard. And that's exactly what he did to bring the Knicks back to win that game, because the Knicks were losing. They were down. They were down a pretty nice chunk of the game also. So, hey, we'll see what happens. This NBA playoffs, like I said, it's got to be one of the best. It just does. I can't wait to watch tonight. I'm trying to watch that Knicks Pacers game. Can't wait. All right, let's move along. Oh wow. Hey, I haven't talked about old President Trump in a while. Boy, he can give you a bevy of material. He can. At some point in time, I was just like, you know what? I'm talking about him too much. I ain't gonna do it. But man, I just gotta chime in a little bit. You know, he's on trial up in New York for that Stormy Daniels hush money trial, where he allegedly or supposedly paid her off to keep her mouth closed about an extramarital affair that was about ready to break right when he was running for the presidency, and he didn't want that to come out because he was in fear. His staff, they were in fear that that would affect the outcome of the presidential election. So he supposedly paid her off through some campaign funds, and he wanted to keep it hush hush. But somehow, some way, it leaked out. So he's on trial in New York for that, and he's been found in contempt a few times because of a gag order that was placed on him by the judge. The judge flat out told him, hey, don't go in front of that media camera inside the court, outside the courtroom, or on the campaign trail at your campaign rallies, talking about this trial, giving disparaging remarks about the DA, the witnesses, myself, yada, 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 the jury, whatever, what have you. Don't you open your mouth about this trial. It does not need to happen. But former President Trump, being former President Trump, this is his bread and butter. He is defiant. So he's gone out on the campaign trail. He's even said some disparaging remarks after court in the lobby of the courthouse. So the judge has fined him in contempt multiple times, which is, of course, $1,000 fine. But yesterday, the judge had a little sit down with him and gave him a little verbal warning of sorts, if I can say that. A tongue lashing and a verbal warning, because he told him, hey, I've been finding you in contempt multiple times, and you continue to do the same thing. I honestly don't believe these contempt charges and these fines are working. Perhaps jail might be an option. And the judge went on to say, hey, I really don't want to do that, because you are a former United States president, and you're running again, and quite possibly you could win the election. I don't want to throw you in jail, but you just gotta keep your damn mouth closed. Hey, if you know President Trump, like I said, that's his bread and butter. That's how he galvanizes his supporters. It just is. That's what he does. Hell, that's how hey, let's be honest with each other here, folks. That's how he won the White House. He galvanized those supporters by, hey, whenever he didn't agree with something, he let it be known, whether it be him bashing or giving some snug remark or comment, or as those in the media say, he rallied those people at January 6th. Keep hearing about January 6th. When are we going to be done with January 6th? I understand January 6th, it was a very big moment in history here in the United States. But I'm sick of hearing about it, to be honest with you. So, you have that argument that, hey, that's what he does. That is what he does. He does galvanize supporters and people to, hey, to rally around and support him by any means necessary. That's just what he does. It is. But the judge has came out and said, look at here, this may be it for you. If you show up in here again and I find you in contempt, it ain't going to be no fine. Just may be some jail time, and you'll be coming to court from a jail cell after leaving the jail cell. What are you going to do? What are you going to say to the man? That's just what he does, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is. All right, let's move along here. Also, man, there's a lot going on in this country, man. One thing, the protests are still continuing on college campuses throughout this great country of ours. Isn't that what the America? One of the founding principles of America was the right to protest. It's our constitutional right. We do have the right to protest. You know, you have the anti-Israel protests, you have the pro-Palestinian protests, however you want to word it, wherever the case may be. It's became so disruptive with these makeshift camps, people taking over the college campuses and setting up tents and uh, plywood shelter or whatever, what have you. So much so, Columbia University in New York has canceled its commencement exercises, graduation, in fear that there may be violence and disruption. A lot of those kids, a lot of those people, a lot of those young adults have worked hard for 4 years. Some may have been working hard for more than 4 years or whatever, what have you. Some may have been working hard for 3 years. They put in the work. And it looks like they're not going to be able to walk across the stage. I would be all kinds of pissed. And I'm not dismissing what the protest is about. Understand that. Get it, got it, understand it wholeheartedly, fully. You do have a right to protest. There are some things that are going on over there in Israel and Palestine that aren't too kosher. But come on now. There's no way in the world that they should be canceling graduation because they're in fear of not just the protest, but the violence and this disruption. I mean, a lot of kids, a lot of young men and women, like I said, have put in that work. They deserve that right. They have earned that right to walk across that stage. And here they can't walk across the stage because of this. Now, here in North Carolina, you know, I told you guys last week about the protests here in North Carolina at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where they took the American flag down and then it was replaced with the Palestinian flag. And there were 30 students that were arrested or detained, however they want to say it. But now there's been a petition that has been presented to the faculty and the administration at UNC Chapel Hill, to which they're asking that those 30 students that were arrested or detained last week at that protest, they want them to be pardoned, and also urge university officials to hold off on grades until the students are given amnesty. To which the university said no. Well, the university said, hell no. I can't blame them. Amnesty? Not only were you protested, you have that right. Got it, understand it. Not only did you protest, but you were disruptive, so much so you took the flag down, replaced it, and you were arrested. 30 of you were arrested. Did you guys not think that you were going to be held accountable for your actions? Is there something I'm missing here in this world now that we are living in, where you can do what you want to, say what you want to say, run amok, be disruptive, and then get off scot-free because you were fighting for a certain cause or whatever, or what have you? And if you're going to say to me that, you know, 2 or 3 summers ago, Black Lives Matter, and there were a lot of people that were doing something similar or the exact same thing, get it, got it, understand it. I didn't go for that, and I'm black. So you can't give me, don't dare say that. I thought that was just totally uncalled for, to protest to the point where you just start destroying things. I've always said that, no matter the cause of the movement. So what makes these students feel they are or should be given a pass, an amnesty, after they were so disruptive and blatantly disrespectful? Guys probably wouldn't have raised an eyebrow. I got to be honest with you, because that's like everywhere else in this country, going on across the country. A lot of folks are being arrested or whatever, what have you. But when you when you took that American flag down, that was a no. That was a red flag, no pun intended. Then you replaced it with a Palestinian flag. What did you think was going to really happen? You were blatantly disrespectful. You just were. What did you think was going to happen? Apparently, you guys think you should be given amnesty. The university said no. I mean, pretty much in the statement, they said, hey, we respect and understand wholeheartedly the right of everyone to protest in a peaceful, respectful, non-disruptive manner. That wasn't the case last week. And isn't the case in New York or California, where they're protesting, and so much so in New York, Columbia has to cancel their commencement exercises. That's a huge letdown. I'm sorry, I just am. That's a huge letdown right there. A lot of those folks work hard for that, and they've earned the right to walk across stage, and now to be told they're not going to be able to walk across stage because of the protests. Maybe, just maybe, I have been told, like I always say numerous times, you are a heartless, inconsiderate bastard. You don't understand or show compassion or understanding or empathy for anything. Maybe not, but this right here, no. Nope, 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 no. No. I think those kids, those young men and women up there at Columbia should be able to walk across that stage. I think these 30 students down here at UNC at Chapel Hill, regardless of what side of the fence you were on, whether you were pro-Palestine or or pro-Israel, I think you need to be held accountable for your actions. At least that's the way life has been for me. Whenever I screwed up, whenever I did things that I knew that I wasn't supposed to do, or even when I did things and I didn't know, and then when I look back and I'm caught up in the mix, I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know that. I've always been held responsible for my actions. Maybe times have changed. Maybe you can just go out and do whatever you want to and get off scot-free in the long run at the end of it, because there's an understanding and there's compassion and empathy for you and your beliefs and woes and troubles. Nope. You guys need to be held accountable. From coast to coast, college campuses to college campus, you guys need to be held accountable for your actions. If you're a college student, this is, that goes against that goes against the whole code of conduct on these college campuses. I'm wondering at some point in time if this continues, where it is the end of the school year, but if it was during the school year, I think there would be a lot of suspensions and expulsions. So you guys know the code of conduct on these college campuses or whatever, what have you. You know what you can and can't do. You can't be disruptive. You can't take over buildings and reconstruct it to suit your needs. So it should be no surprise when you start getting this punishment. And no, you shouldn't be exempt or receive amnesty because you were arguing for a fight or a plight. Maybe I am like I said, a heartless bastard. I never got that understanding, never gotten that understanding or leeway. Like I said, whatever I've done, I've been held accountable. And hey, I got to say, I thank the good Lord for it. It's made me a better person. Makes me think before I act. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm being a hard, or giving a verbal tongue lashing. But somebody's parents pay for you guys to go to school. And you're about to screw it up. You're about to screw it up. Understand your compassion and whatever, what have you, for your cause and your movement, but you got to think smart. You just do. You guys are about to screw it up. You're about to screw it up. You're about to screw it up. Just are. Just are. All right. Let's go get it. Man, I woke up this morning And I thought I heard this story last night before I laid down and went to bed, but I was kind of nodding out. Yeah, I'm an old fogey. Sometimes I do listen to the news before I go to bed. Wow. It appears a United States Army soldier has been detained in Russia. Wow. I would say here we go again, but I'm not. Wait till you hear the story. I'm not being funny, but when you hear the backstory, you're going to say to yourself, just like I did, man, what the hell were you thinking? This United States soldier was stationed in Korea, South Korea. He took a temporary leave to go to Russia. Why he would go to Russia of all places in the middle of a war, I'm sure I would never know. I would never understand. I don't want to know. I don't never want to understand that bad. So he takes leave. He's granted leave, and he goes to Russia, despite the fact everyone knows that every American citizen has been told to stay the hell out of Russia. And if you are in Russia, leave and leave immediately. But this United States soldier is granted leave. He goes to Russia. Why did he go to Russia, you ask? A woman. Apparently, he had a girlfriend, and she went back to Russia. She was a bartender near the base he was stationed at in Korea, and he was smitten by her beauty. So much so, he goes into a war zone. The power of the cat. I ain't making it up. I'm not. I'm not making this up. So he's granted leave. He goes to Russia to chase his fair lady love. Although his mother tells a very different tale. She may just not have been his fair lady love, because his mother tells the tale. Boy, those mamas will tell it all, won't they? They'll tell the truth, so help me. They would, even if it means that their own son looks like a bumbling, stumbling, clumsy idiot, they will tell you the truth. Because she says, as she says it, that relationship wasn't that grand. It was tumultuous, violent even. In fact, that's the chart. One of the charges he's facing in Russia: assault, or what would be equivalent here in the United States, assault on a female, and they're saying that he stole some of her money. So the mother says that relationship wasn't that grand. It wasn't that beautiful. It wasn't that an American Russian war love story. It wasn't that at all. In fact, she says that she thinks that young lady may have set him up, because they're hinting at, Russian officials are hinting at the fact he may be charged with spying. The mother says that she thinks that the young lady set her son up, and he has now been charged with, of course, like I said, assault on a female, stealing her money, and quite possibly the charge is pending spying. Because the mother said, so much so she knows that relationship wasn't the best in the world for her son, because they had gotten into it in South Korea also, physically. There. Power of the cat. That's the best I can explain it to you. Power of, a woman. Hey, we've all been there as males. I know I have. We all do foolish things when we're smitten by a woman. But I never did any foolishness like this. I would never do any foolishness like this. I don't care. No. There's no way in the world you could convince me to chase a woman into a war zone in Russia. of all places in this world, on this earth, to be caught and jammed up in Russia over a woman. I know there's some women out there that may be saying, hey, you can't say that. The man's mother told the tale, lady. She told it. She said that fool. I'm sorry. She said that fool took leave from the United States Army. He was granted leave. He's not UA. He's not AWOL because he was given a week's leave. I believe his mother said it was a week's leave. I believe the State Department official said the same thing. He was granted a week's leave. I mean, that's nothing out of the ordinary just because you're overseas. You are, if you got leave on the books, just like PTO here in the civilian world, if you got leave on the books and there's nothing going on at your command where you're needed, you don't have to be at the ready, they'll give you leave. It's no biggie. And I'm sure when he put down on the paper where he was going, I'm sure they're thinking to themselves, well, we really can't. The only thing we have from the State Department is for Americans to leave or not go, but there really hasn't been a travel ban. So I guess the military hands were tied. And old soldier lover boy decided to go out there and chase his fair lady love. Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus. So now this fool is detained in Russia. We now not only have to worry about him, we not only have to worry about Paul Whelan and this other gentleman. Got to worry about him also. Don't have to worry about not only Paul Whelan and his other gentleman over there. We now have to worry about this American soldier, Army soldier, as he sits in a Russian jail, awaiting his fate. Putin sure has a lot of pawns, doesn't he? If you also remember last week, I talked to you about that Brittany Griner interview. Saw that interview with Brittany Griner, and man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Wow. Just wow. Continue to pray for her. It's obvious that she went through a lot in that Russian prison. And I mean a lot. It's obvious there's no doubt in my mind that she's going to need counseling for a while. I honestly believe any and everything that we hear about Russian prisons are true now. And here goes this fool voluntarily going over there. He's in love. Pray for him. Pray for him. And when U.S. officials get their hands on him, they should tune him up. I'm going to be honest with you. Tune his ass up. Beat some sense into him. Just do. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, that when I woke up this morning, and I want to say I did kind of hear it when I was nodding out. And when I woke up this morning and I got the full story, I said, wow, wow, wow. Oh, wow. Jesus bless him. Bless him. Bless him, Father. Bless him. Help him, Lord. Please help him. Because that right there, homie, that made no sense whatsoever. I don't care who it was. I don't care who she was. I don't care how beautiful she was. I don't care how smitten I was with her. There's nowhere in the world I would have followed her to Russia or any country that is in the middle of a war. There's no way in the world you could convince me to do that. Then again, the power of the cat. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Hey, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going and skedaddle. Certainly do have a lot going on in this world of ours. Protests. Former President Trump refuses to shut his mouth. You got protests, anti-Israel, anti-Palestine. You got students that somehow, some way believe they should be exempt from being held accountable for their actions and reactions to certain situations that are going on in this world. Hey, like I said, get it, got it, understand it. I understand wholeheartedly both sides. I can't relate, but I can understand. I can show empathy for you, but you got to have some semblance of order. Um, Chaos versus chaos, usually nothing good comes out of it. Just doesn't. Like I said, you got President Trump and his refusal to shut his mouth, and the gag orders and the fines and the contempts. And now the judge is saying, hey, none of that appears to be working. Maybe jail will. Mm, mm. Then you have a United States soldier that was so smitten by a young lady he may have just hopefully doesn't get hurt or killed. So pray for him. Pray for us all. Pray. Just pray. Just pray. Just pray. Hey, as always, I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share, offer feedback. Hey, get in that comment section. Let me know what you think about the topics I talked about today, or give some examples of some topics that I should talk about. Hey, and like I always say, whether yay or nay, I'm pretty thick-skinned. You can let me know what you think. I won't bite. I won't bite. Not physically, verbally. I do believe wholeheartedly we can all sit down and have a nice uh, exchange of ideas and thoughts and beliefs without getting downright indignant and just despicable. I just do. I just do. And as always, thank you for listening. This is Stephen Carnegie for This Is Just a Thought. Amen.